selling is, like I was starting to say, is that this is a very, very rough first draft, but there's a story to tell here. And we could just, I could just make it clinical and here's the deal. But I want this group right here that we're talking to. You guys understand, you have a little bit of an idea. You're just looking for details. This piece here that we're going to see is something that when we refine it will be one of the first pieces you share with your new members who have expressed an interest in helping others, either to be able to patch for life by making a few referrals or perhaps making a few thousand or tens of thousands of dollars a month. And so I wanted to create a story that laid out why we're doing and what we're doing here. So understand there's absolutely no graphics. All I did was take this and put it onto a Google Doc. And, hopefully with Paul's help and some other people, we can make this into a brilliant PDF or, a Google Slides or something like that once we get it refined. So as you're watching, please, jot down any notes you think, any comments or notes about the physical presentation, what you're seeing on the page, that's going to be changed dramatically. But the story, if something doesn't make sense, if if you like it, if you don't, let me know and we'll go from there. Wilson, do I have share functionality?
Give me one sec. Let me just give you. Yeah, you got share functionality there, bud.
Okay. All right. So let me get started here. Find this. All right. Can you guys see that okay? Can you guys see the screen okay?
Perfect, buddy.
Okay, great. All right. So again, all I've done is put this on a Google Doc, but the story is what I'm here to do, and I'm just taking note of the time we're getting started to see where we are. So again, we want to get started, and I want to kind of welcome everybody to. We're going to be talking today about your three allies, and this is designed for LifeWave affiliates. And I just want to make crystal clear, this is something that our team is doing. It's not been approved, reviewed, or endorsed by LifeWave, but you'll see we're not making any claims here whatsoever. Okay. So let's talk. What is an ally? An ally is a person. We're going to kind of massage that a little bit. A person who associates or cooperates with another. In other words, a supporter. And we want to talk to you about the three allies that can absolutely change your life and change the life of perhaps tens of thousands of people that you affect, through the butterfly effect. Now, as LifeWave associates, we all know that our goal actually, as an associate, okay, or an affiliate, it's our responsibility to introduce LifeWave patches to as many people as possible. I think we'll all agree on that, okay? But I want you to think for a moment about those who are suffering from physical ailments or challenges or maybe just exhaustion from everyday life. And I'm sure all of us, even those of us, me and Wilson and everybody else that have been here for a while, there's still that person out there. I've got a half a dozen that I need to get to for my Saturday webinar. Okay. Just think about them for a minute. All right. Now, what's running through your mind as you think about those people? Okay. You know what you're saying. You want to introduce them. You believe in the patches, but you don't know what to say. Okay, I guarantee you that's almost even me and Wilson. Okay, and Paul and the leaders. You don't know quite what to say. None of us want to be a salesman. Okay, you don't want to come off as a salesman, and most important, you do not want to strain your personal relationship. So your aunt that has a diabetes problem, or your uncle that has the arthritis, you really want to help them, but you don't know what to say. You don't know how the patches work. You're really maybe not sure. You're not sure about the questions. And no, what you do? Nothing. You don't make any money. You don't help anybody else. And your uncle and your aunt don't get the effect of the patches that they need. Okay. So we understand. I've been in sales for 40 years. I'm still nervous. Not longer than that. Geez, over 50 years I've been in sales. So I understand. We have a solution. We're pleased to introduce you to our three, or what we're calling is your three allies. And this will help you solve those concerns and, more importantly, help you help more people. And the beauty of it is this three allies concept is completely free and incredibly duplicatable. Okay. Now, how many people can you help if you've got something that addresses the concerns we just discussed? I think you would agree that we can help a lot more people, right? And it's so simple. So, what are these three allies? Okay. We talked about a person. Well, these three allies are actually three simple statements or questions that allow you to introduce LifeWave without fear, confrontation, or risk to your relationship. Let's read that again. You can do it without fear, confrontation, or risk. And it's so utterly simple. So let's have a look. Okay. Now we understand that the three allies are best used for warm market. We can adapt this a little bit to cold market, but this is really after you've established a relationship with somebody. So this really isn't something that you're going to mass mail or put on a Facebook page because you don't know the person. All right. This is for your warm market. It doesn't have to be family, could be your guys in the bowling league or the golf club. The people you kind of know about them. They talk to you about their ailments, and that type of stuff. So here's how this works. Ally number one, what you'll say to your friend, your warm market is, hey, I have something for you that may help you with your arthritis. I have something that may help you with your diabetes. I have something that may help you with your bad back. Okay. You immediately follow up with what I consider to be the most important of the three allies. And that is, but to be clear, Mike, this may or may not be for you, but I just want to share it. We're going to talk about these in a minute. I just want to tell you what the three allies are. I have something for you. It may or may not be for you. And I have a short video that will give you some basic information. Is that okay? Now, we're going to break these down. We're going to give additional training on how to do this, how to deal with handle objections. Today's presentation is to give you the basic overview. This number three, the third ally, is important because you want to constantly defer to the next step, which is to watch the video. Okay? Because remember, we want, talking from the affiliate side, success loves speed. So we want to make sure that as soon as your prospects, your people that are now patching, that if they are an affiliate minded, we want to get them running. We want to get them going because success loves speed. Okay. So again, take a look. Get this right here. I have something for you, may help you with your identify what the issue is. This may or may not be for you. I have a short video. Can I share it with you? Boom. Now, we're going to talk in another session about the best way to do that. You don't just send it to them willy-nilly. There's a certain thing you're going to do. We're not going to cover that today. Let's break these down. And that's it. Okay. Now, let's just stop for a second. As we were worried about talking to Uncle, Hank about his arthritis and wanting to catch, you talk to Uncle Hank, to him at Thanksgiving. Hey, how's your arthritis? Oh, it's killing me. Okay. I've got something for you. It may or may not be for you. And there's a 2-minute video. So maybe after dinner, I can give you that link, whatever the case may be. Isn't that simple? If these are truly warm market people and you can identify literally a pain point, this is the easiest way to get the message to them. And you know who's telling the message? Not you. It's the video and the webinars. This is what makes this so powerful. No more, okay, this looks really good. I'm going to study it for 2 weeks. Nope, let's get going. Success loves speed. Okay. You could directly, with this three allies, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this as a team. With your three allies, you can directly help dozens or hundreds of people. Over the next 2, 4, 6 months, could you sign up 20 or 40 people with the three allies? Absolutely. But then think if those people did the same. We're talking about you personally having an impact on the health and well-being of thousands or tens of thousands of people by doing, using, and teaching the three allies. And the fun part about this, folks, is this is just one marketing channel that our team is bringing for you. There's so many different ways, marketing, advertising, Facebook, all kinds of stuff. But if we focus on this, if we tap into the warm market of every single people joining our group in a non-confrontational way, we can help so many people. All right. So trust me, you use that. If we use the three allies in that fashion, and you encourage people to do the same, those that are wanting to be affiliates. Okay. If they don't want anything to do with it, don't push them. They may come around. I'm sure Wilson has many stories about people who want nothing to do with the affiliate thing. And 3 months later, they go, Mike, I was telling my cousin about my success, and he was kind of curious about it. Did you say I could make money? Oh, don't push, don't push, don't push. Okay. But if you're affiliately oriented, and of course, those of you in here are, you know, listen to your people when they sign up. They're going to know about the affiliate thing. If they ask about it, that's the person that you want to introduce the three allies to. And if you use this, if we duplicate it, the money will flow like a river because you get paid to infinity. That's what makes this compensation plan so powerful. And remember, you don't need to sell, convince, or explain. Okay? You just share. Like we've said again and again and again, if you get good at just one thing, which is sharing, you can make an absolute fortune. So let's break this down. I want to talk about the three allies individually, and then we'll, this isn't a in-depth presentation, but I want you to understand the core. First ally, I have something that may help you with. Okay. You have their attention because you're talking about something that's important to them, because you listen to them. Their neck hurts, the diabetes, maybe they have, they were diagnosed with cancer, whatever the case may be. And keep in mind, we're not saying cure. We're not saying anything. We're not even mentioning it. We're just saying it may help you with. Okay. You're providing a solution for them that is a concern to them. They talk about that in marketing. They talk about addressing the pain point, usually like, how do I get this thing to work, or how do I mow the lawn faster, or whatever the case may be. Literally with LifeWave, we are talking about a physical pain point. Okay. That's what marketing is. Identify the pain point. If you have something that will help them, okay, they're going to listen. This, again, may be the most important of the three allies. This may or may not be for you. This is huge. It takes the pressure off of them to decide and takes the stress out of a short conversation, and it preserves the relationship. It gives them an opportunity to say, no, I'm not interested. Great, back away. Okay. Or if they say, and they look at the video and they don't like it, great. What it normally will do many times, it may or may not be for you. Wait a minute, why isn't it for me? All of a sudden, yeah, for me. Internally, they're thinking, why isn't it for me? Yeah, I want to see it. Okay. So this second ally is wonderful for posturing. And the third ally, I'd like to share a short 2-minute video with you to give you some basic information. Is that okay? Okay. It's simple. It also is what I call a micro agreement. If you get them to say yes to lots of tiny things, as you're talking to somebody, or you'll notice, and I probably do it too much when I do my presentations or when I'm in discussion with people, does that make sense? I stop, make sure they're on the train. Okay. Get them used to saying yes. And remember, you're not selling, you're sharing, you're helping people. We're going to talk about the money here in a second, but if you keep in mind, if you focus on the helping people, it's going to come out. I remember when I was selling real estate, I was having a rough patch, and my broker, an old crusty Montanan, would say, Clint, you're acting like a predatory wolf. Back off. Don't be asking them all constantly. You have to ask for the sale to get it, but you don't need to constantly be saying, is this the one? Are you ready? Let's go. No. When the time is right, it's going to work. Okay. You're sharing. And the beauty here, I had to do the selling in real estate, and I did good and I had fun. You don't have to sell anything. What do you got to do? Invite. That's it. Just invite. Okay. So we've gotten to this point. They've said yes for the video. We're going to teach you some secrets on how to best share that video. And I'll tell you the answer is not, okay, great, I'll send you a link. That is not the answer. That's not what we're going to do. We'll show you how to do that. Okay. That's your three allies. Now, that's not hard. And again, just to review, you've not sold anything. You've not put on any pressure on anything. Okay. Do you need to know how the patches work? Do you know what, copper peptides are? No. You know how many patents David Schmidt has? No. You even know how to use the patches. I think you do because you're using them, but you don't need to explain how to use them. You don't need to know this. Okay. Now, that's good for you because I know it's going to help your sales. But let's take this to the next step. This is also good for your team because anybody can do this. And that's why this is so powerfully duplicatable. All right. Now, again, you don't even know how to use, you need to know how to use the three ally system. You don't need to know how to use the fine detail of the system, just how to invite. Okay. That is simple. Now you're going to say, great, where's the 2 minute video? What do I got? Do I have to make one? Do I got to build one? Okay. Don't worry. We got this covered. All right. We've created a generic page. Now there's two things that we can do, and I'm going to discuss this, and Wilson and I are going to kind of have an open discussion about this after the end of this. But we've created a generic page, and oops, this is it. All right. So this page right here was created by actually a good friend of Wilson's, mine, his graphics team, and you're going to share this. So you've talked to your uncle about his arthritis, or your aunt about her diabetes, and we're going to show you how to share this with them in the best way. Can the human body heal itself? We're going to set the stage for the body to heal itself. Okay, that's it. And then there's a short video. Now I am going to play. Oh shoot, I may not. Yeah, I think I'm going to discuss with playing the video right now. Because I didn't. Um, I want to improve it. I've got some timing in it that's off. And two, I didn't set this up to let me play videos. I forgot to do that. But we can dispense with that, and I will give you the link, and you can watch the video outside of this. Again, keep in mind, this is not a finished product. This is a concept. The video is kind of like this presentation in that I like the storyboard. We just have to improve the presentation, and that may be something that some of the team here can do. Okay, sorry about that. All right, we go up here. So now that was the video, and important, you're going to note when you watch the video, there's no mention of LifeWave. I don't think there's a mention of stem cells, no mention of any specific disease, and no mention of cures of any kind. We're just setting that stage. Can my body heal itself? Okay. And what's the goal? The goal is to get them to a presentation. Okay. Now, how are we going to do this? We'll talk about the presentation in a second. You can use the three eyes anytime you want. So, in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, you want to get some work done before you go make dinner or whatever the case may be, and you got a couple people, use the three allies. Hey, I'm just heading off to make dinner, Susie, but I know you've been having problems with migraines. I've got something that may help you with your migraines. It may or may not be for you, but can I send you a 2 minute video? You decide to make a couple of those calls right before you're going to make dinner. Great. But the best strategy might be to put your three allies to work for you about an hour before any of the various webinars. Okay. Why? Because there is no capture form. There is nothing that they get. The video says, hey, get back to the person that shared this video with you. Okay. Now they're going to say, okay, Susie says, man, I've got the migraines are still killing me. What do you got? So she watches the video and she calls you back and says, man alive, what's next? I want more information. Funny you should say that. We're having a webinar in 20 minutes. I'll send you the link, and you can pop in and hear from an expert. What's that do? A, it begins to edify the presenter, and B, it takes the pressure off of you to know things. And C, it's timely. Okay, so if you do this at 4 o'clock, dinner's usually 5 or 6. She can come in for the 5 o'clock webinar and maybe have dinner delayed a little bit. My point is that it's so simple, and I just want to emphasize this to the ends of the earth. What this is going to do, folks, for our team is open this up to everybody. I guarantee you, even myself with 45 years of sales experience, I still have power reluctance. Okay. But if all I got to do is call up Mike and say, Mike, how's the arthritis, dude? Oh man, my golf game's gone to heck. I just don't know what to do. Great. I got something for you. May or may not be for you. Got a webinar in 20 minutes. Watch this video. Here's the link to join the webinar. Get your butt in there. And we've talked about this before too. Some people, you can kind of be like that. Don't argue with me, just be there. not everybody. Okay. So it gets better. So this, I hope, all makes sense to everybody, but it kind of gets better because what I'm going to be doing, and I think Wilson will be along, and hopefully some of the leaders over there will have Team Tree Ally Zooms. Okay. This isn't training. This is doing. Okay. Now, am I going to sit there and listen to you make a call to Susie? No, I'm not even going to know you're calling Susie. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be in the room talking to Mike, and I'm going to come back into the Zoom room and say, type into the chat, hey, I just talked to my buddy Mike. He's coming to the webinar. And then I'm going to, in 10 minutes, I'll come back and I talk to Doug. Doug told me to F off. Okay, great. Let's share that. So now all of a sudden, we're doing something as a community. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've gone through this. I know I did when I was younger. I used to run every day. And sometimes at 6 o'clock in the morning, I didn't want to get up, but I knew Mark was going to be there. So I had to drag my butt out of bed to get out there and go run. Same thing here. Okay. If you know there's that Lindy's going to be here and Wilson's going to be there and Steve's going to be here and Alan's going to be here and Cliff's going to be here, you're going to show up. Okay. Now, the fun part of this is we can share our stories, our successes, and our failures. And we can kind of triage that a little bit. Okay. Now, this is a schedule for the future. I just pulled this off, but I wanted to let you know that we can do these 3 allies. Okay, right now we've got a very small group. We're just learning this, but a full schedule like this is probably not coming till next year. But the schedule is in place. Okay, because there's 3 company meetings that these are, I think there's more, but they're the ones that I've got for my team. We've got Wilson's training, and I'm doing 1, 2, 3 presentations during the week. But before each one of those, I'm doing 3 allies. Okay. So I've got a list as long as your arm. I'm just going to make sure that, before every webinar that I do, of course, you guys are all welcome to attend. You'll always have the links, but I'm also going to make sure my team knows, and I'm also going to make sure I reach out to 3, 5, or 7 people that I have not yet talked to. Okay. But over time, if we grow to hundreds of people, maybe a few dozen are doing them, we will have enough people to fill this up. All right. Now you may ask yourself, what's MATM? This is again something I want to give shout out to my buddy Robert Burns, whom is the guy that I met Wilson through, and he's the one that basically adapted and kind of created. I don't think he created, but he adapted the 3 allies concept, and he also kind of taught me a thing called the meeting after the meeting. Now Robert comes from old school belly to belly marketing, and oftentimes they'd go to conventions and stuff or home meetings, and then they would meet in the coffee shop or a donut shop or maybe even a bar and talk about program or the product. That's where the real work got done. Not listening to somebody up on a stage, but rather afterwards. And so that's one of the things that I love the company meetings. They're really well done. There's some people are kind of boring, but each of the company meetings I would encourage you to attend because you get a different perceptive. I listened to one lady who's a personal trainer, and she was just so successful and so happy. I have a lady that's a personal trainer and nutritionist. Bang! I know I can send her that link and get her attention. Okay. So the meeting after the meeting is where we'll gather in my my meeting room, and we can basically go through a discussion for people if they've got questions. And those company meetings are sometimes really good. You get excited and you go, oh, it's over. I wanted to ask a question. Well, there's no way to do that. So I will be doing meetings after the meetings from the company meetings. Now, in talking to Wilson and some of the other leaders, over time, we might be able to kind of, tag team this as we get bigger and bigger. But just imagine, having 5,000 people on our team and 100 of us invite people to the company meeting, and we have a 3 allies group before it, and we've got 200 people at the company meeting. I guarantee you, if you have 200 new people, I guarantee you at least 30 or 40 of them are going to want to ask questions. Well, we've got the meeting after the meeting. Okay. So it just makes a lot of sense to do that. But the key here is trying to stay on track, which is hard for me to do. It's all about the 3 allies. Now, this schedule is not yet in place, and I'll share the schedule as it expands with Wilson, and he can share it with you guys. Okay. Now, I hope this makes sense. because this could be very powerful for you, your team, and our entire community. Now, I want to talk to you about two things. And then again, as our mentor Robert Burns would say, we're going to bring this puppy in for a landing. I want to talk about two things. I want to talk to you. This is all about helping others. There's nothing wrong with making money by truly helping others. And I just want to I don't know whether you've ever really looked at the math of duplication and simple, consistent actions like participating in the three allies. And then I want to tell you a little bit of my Tracy story and why it's so important to you. All right. Now, if this three allies concepts make sense, let me ask you some questions. Would you them to work for you and help others to improve their health? And of course, to include your health. All right. Now, would you be willing to spend just a few hours a month using the three allies? If you answered yes to those questions, I'm going to share some math with you. So we're talking about spending a few hours using the three allies system and sharing that with a few others. Okay. Now, if you do this, if you use three allies to make just two little sales in a month, think about it. I guarantee you, each and every one of you have six people in your mind right now that when you're comfortable with three allies, you will use it with. You probably have more. Okay. We're talking about two sales in a month. All right. And that two sales in a month is duplicated. All right. Now, we all know how that works. Some people will get 10, some people will get none. Some people will drop out. I just want to give you a picture of the math. Because if you do that, if you get two this month, those two get two, those two get two, you know how much money you'll make at the end of the year, how much money you'll be making, how much walk away income you'll be making? $30,000 a month, probably more. Now, there are certain caveats on this. You have to have more than two sales. There's some rank advances you have to do, but the volume is there by merely getting two in a month and duplicating it. Now, I'm not here to hype you on the affiliate side, but I want to quantify for you what this means. Okay. Now, let's finish this up. I want to tell you a story about my friend Tracy, and I'm going to stop the share, turn my video back on. And I had a friend back when I was in high school. I had a lady, a young lady that I wasn't dating. We went out a few times. She was a good friend. And I went off to college and she went off to wherever. And 10 years later, I met her in Spokane, a city about 100 miles from where we went to high school. And we went out a few more times and kind of hit it off. And turns out she has a baby. She was a single mom with a baby. And through the course of discussions, this was back when I was selling life insurance. And I said to her, I said, you know, I know you're not making a lot of money, but we really should get some insurance just in case you get hit by a bus. You've got some money for Michaela. And that's my term. I sold it life insurance, was a financial planner for quite some time. And you don't want to say if you die of a heart attack. I try and put some humor in it. You get hit by a bus. So her brother, Gilbert, actually lived in town. So I did the life insurance presentation to the two of them. And he said, Tracy, you need this. He said, I'll pay for it. She said, well, let me think about it. You know, and so I followed up some, but didn't want to push because they were friends. And time went on. They didn't return my calls. It turned out that Gilbert got sick and things like that. But over time, it just kind of went away. And I thought, oh, bummer. Well, about 5 years later, I saw an article in the paper that she had been killed in a crash, a car crash. Her daughter survived. And the Tracy story is that if I'd done my job and pushed on her, because it was right, her daughter would have 100 grand. This was back in 85. So this is what, 40 years ago? It was a $100,000 policy for like 25 bucks a month. And her brother was going to pay for it. If I had done what I was supposed to do, because it was absolutely unequivocally right, her daughter would be so much better off. Because I know her parents were middle to lower middle class. I knew them because I'd gone over to her house, you know, and things like that. So my point is, you're in the same boat. There are people in your circle of influence that you know these patches are right. Are they guaranteed to work? No. Will they probably work? Yes. And now you have a way to show Uncle Mike, Aunt Sally, that you have something to help them and you don't have to explain it. You don't have to know how the patches work. You don't have to know what a copper peptide is. All you got to do is share it, use the three allies, take the pressure off so there's no relationship risk, and get people to the webinars that Wilson and I are doing. Don't have your own crazy story. And that's what I have.
Wow, 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 my brother. Absolutely beautiful. You touched on something that is close to my heart. You know what we're doing within LifeWave and us sharing this technology with people and the ripple effect that it creates is intense. And for you guys that were on the convention over the weekend, we kept hearing the next 20 years, the next 20 years, the next 20 years. So there's an urgency on my heart here when it comes to us sharing this information to people because that healing that happens, if I didn't go to my friend Lindy and I told her, hey, we need to try these patches on your mom, she won't be sitting where she's sitting now. And I'm actually quite sad in that scenario because I should have pushed on her harder when I spoke to her about it first, because that was a long time ago. This only happened recently. But my point is, if you now look at what happened in Lindy's case and this amazing recovery that's happening with her mom and how their sphere of influence is seeing what's busy happening and the effect that that has to everybody. And, because we're earning in a binary, uh, can you imagine 20 years from now? And if you didn't go to that person and sort of like knocked on their door a couple times and get the point across and get them to use the patches, nothing's going to happen. And there's an urgency on my heart here because people are in pain, people are dealing with things where the doctors can't help. Yeah, we've got a solution. It's a little patch. And yeah, I think what you shared tonight, Clinton, is the missing link. There's many ways how we can adapt this. Me and Chris did a training on universal voice note and what do you send to people if they want information? What are the top 10 or 13 things that you can drip feed people with to get their attention? You could use that. But hey, like I think I might have something for you, can help you with X. It may or may not be for you. Here's a testimony, for example, of somebody with arthritis if they're dealing with arthritis, and then get them interested to actually come and spend a half an hour with us. I must tell you, many of the people that I've signed up, I had a very good chat with them. I told them exactly what's going on. I send them 3 or 4 things. A week later, they sign up without even coming to a meeting. That did take time because I have spent thousands of hours since I've been in here. Well, I won't say thousands, but a good couple. I can verbalize this really well and I'm really passionate about it. I will never, never stop talking about X39 to people. It's just bubbles out of me. But this takes the pressure off people because people don't want to present. They think it's daunting. People don't want to go through all the info and try and learn what all this is. You apply this properly and you have a bit of posture and you edify me or you edify Clint or your upline, somebody that knows what's going on here. Guys, you can use this three ally strategy just to set up a three-way call with one of the senior people and you could get a
Good
sign up
people. Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there, right there, without them even
Really good
coming to
point.
a call.
Yeah.
It's happened to me a couple times. People phone me like, "Hey, I need you to talk to somebody." We have a 5-minute chat, and the next day they order. So I'm really excited for just digging a bit deeper here. There's nuances. There's things that's going to happen in this process. You are going to need to develop a bit of a posture because people are going to ask what it is, and you must have the guts to say, "Hey, like I'm not the expert. I want to introduce you to somebody that can answer all your questions." And by just using what we're sharing here and edifying the upline or the leader that's doing the meeting and their story, this could get a lot of traction very quickly without you doing much. And
You
that's,
bring up you bring up a Yeah, you bring sorry about that. You bring up a really, really good point that we're going to have another follow-up session next Wednesday, and we're going to cover, I'm not sure exactly what, but there's a lot more layers. And Wilson brings up one of the ones that's super important, and that is guarantee. They're going to say, what is it?
yeah,
Well, and it's at that point, and that's probably what we should cover next week, Wilson, is how to deal with that question.
yeah,
Because, and there's some fun things. Well, I'm an idiot. I don't know what it is. I don't want to ruin it, or that kind of
yeah,
thing. And the key is, and you can even, I know when Robert and I were role playing it for another project, if you know someone well enough, it's like, quit asking questions, damn it, just come. And if
yeah.
there's certain people out there in your sphere of influence, you can do it. Wilson had something for me, and I was kind of lollygagging, and he said, Clint, I'm your friend. This is good. It's good for you. Might not be for you. Put your ass into the webinar.
That's exactly, guys, it's so funny. I didn't, they've been teaching me the three allies for many years, but I've never seen it like we are going to go through it right now. But that concept of, hey, you're my friend, it's something that I use quite often. You touched on something important there as well. If it's a close friend of yours or somebody that you know, you can just literally say that, hey, I'm your friend. I found something incredible and you need to have a look at it. If you don't like it, it's fine. But you're my friend and I care about you, and you need to see what's going on here because it's unreal. What we're seeing here is just incredible. Come see what we're doing. And that's how I got Clint.
I've got a
That's
really good.
literally how I got Clint. Like just exactly like that. And I mean, I've known him for years and it didn't happen on the first call as well. I sent him info, I sent him info. He was like, and I actually got a little upset with him in one call in a nice way. And I said, hey, now you're gonna listen to me, yeah? You're my homie. Like we go way back. Just look at this. If you don't like it, you can shake my hand and there's no loss. But you need to see what this is and what we are doing because it's incredible. And now look at Westland, where Clint is. And I didn't share anything other than I'm doing a meeting, come join it. Now, if you can't do a meeting, speak to one of the senior people. Guys, I will do one-on-one calls. I will do one-on-one meetings for people if it's somebody that can't come at a specific time. I love presenting LifeWave. It's one of my favorite things to do and use us. And my goal is to help you guys get traction. And by applying what you shared here tonight and getting that to duplicate, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we're gonna
The
do.
funny, the, the funny thing is that I've tried to eat right, and I like holistic things. I don't like the thing that really caught my attention. I joined, and to be honest, I didn't even touch yet, but I kept paying attention to the volume. And I'm a network marketer my whole life. And as the volume began to grow, in addition to continuing to read about the testimonials, I thought, all right, hang on here. Wilson's got all this volume going down this leg. I better do something. So the point is, there's different ways to attack people. If you got like MLM, don't talk to them about it. If you got someone like I've got a guy in big network marketer in the UK, and we've talked. He's got health issues. So does his dad. His dad and his wife have health issues. And I've talked to him, but he's so dang busy. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to record my Tracy story for him, and I'm going to say, "Dang it, I'm doing a webinar Saturday. Come, and I'll quit bugging you. But you got to see this, and you're making a decision for your wife and your dad without having the information. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of push on the friendship. It's not as much of a friendship as Wilson and I have, or Alan and I have, but it's a good enough relationship I can push. So, but you gotta be able to read those things. But now you've got
Clint,
something.
Fiona asked a very important question. So may I ask, what was it in the presentation that made you jump and grabbed your attention for you to finally come on board? Now, I just want to elaborate on the story a little bit. Me and Clint known each other for many years, and like I'm going to say it like it is, I played Clint like a poker game. I knew exactly that if he saw what this was, he was going to knock it out the ballpark. So what I personally did was I did not mention the business side whatsoever. I didn't touch on the business side. I was like, buddy, I've got a product here that's busy changing lives. You need to have a look at it. I knocked on his door a couple times. Um, he eventually came to a meeting and I said to him, just lock in your position. You don't have to order product. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to come. At that stage, he was busy. We couldn't really connect. The timing wasn't right. I got him to sign up at Starter. And I don't know how many months later, but we got a lot of traction. And I think you just phoned me up one day and said, like, what's going on here? Do you think it will help for my back pain? Because my back is quite painful and I see a bunch of movement underneath me. I need to get going here. And yeah, that's how it happened. And this happened over how many months, Clint? It was a process.
Yeah, I joined in mid to late. I joined in mid to late November, and I think my first order was late January, early February. So let's call it a couple of months. But
Yeah,
and again, this isn't an angle for most everybody. But when you have that affiliate marketer that's lukewarm, tell them to just join the starter, put him in a power leg, and just kind of let him go. Keep ripping on him about the next webinar, whatever the case may be. And that's what happened with me. And then I began to have back pain because I walk about 5 miles a day. And it was like, all right, I get a little bit extra money. Let's patch and see what happens.
yeah,
And that's a whole nother story. I don't want to, we're already 45 minutes into this, but yeah, there's different ways. Some people you can lean on them, like my buddy in the UK. I'm gonna beat the crap out of him. Um,
yeah.
and other people, you just got to let them kind of percolate a little bit. So,
So
also got something to say.
I see Paul raised his hand. I don't want this to carry on for too long because I want to keep the recording under an hour. So, Clint, can we elaborate on this again next week? Because I really want us to dig a bit deeper. Paulie, you've got a comment there. Welcome to unmute yourself there, bud.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to add too much to it. I just wanted to mention, I forgot now what I wanted to say because someone's trying to chat to me on WhatsApp here and they're busy interrupting me while I'm thinking. But I just wanted to say, most of the time, a lot of us, when we're trying to introduce people, I think we are giving away too much information, but we do always have someone that is in a place to present the business a little bit better than us with the knowledge that we need to give the person at the right time. But also what I want to say is seconds to it, and I remember now what I wanted to say. When you described how long Clint took to join the business, I think it's been the same with me, Wilson, and I'm sure you can second that. You spoke to me a while ago about LifeWave. I think even, geez, about a year ago. But it was an accident that happened to me that then created that pain that we spoke about in this thing, that we all have that pain point, that somewhere along the line, we then decide, hey, this is needed. So if this system, in a way, can get you to talk to people a little bit more, that you can quicker, in a much more effective way, get to their pain point, I believe it will then, the system will sell itself. I believe the patch will sell itself. It's just a matter of getting to that pain point, telling them that this can do it, or it should be able to help them. Then I think it will sell itself, and then you will be in with a like in with a king.
No, absolutely right, Paul. It was also a process, and guys, don't take for granted what happens when you plant a seed. And what we're doing here today is giving you a system so you can plant more seeds. In both these cases, these are two really, really good friends of mine. We've known each other for years. We've worked together many times. We've learned from each other. We cried together. It's close friends of mine. But the reality of it is, it took time. It took time. It didn't happen quickly. It was a seed I planted, and the timing all of a sudden changed. And look at where we are now. And this is the goal. We want to plant as many seeds. So when that moment comes where the timing's right, in some cases, you share with somebody that 2-minute video, they're like, cool, send me more info. You'll send them the this is at info.com website, and they'll be like, cool, send me your link. I've had that. In some cases, you're going to send people stuff, maybe 20 messages. If it was for George sent Chris 21 messages over 6 weeks. And if he didn't send the 21st message, none of us would be in the business. So this is a process, but our whole goal here is just to make it a bit easier, streamline it. It's very duplicatable. So guys, I absolutely love the session. Clint, I just want to say thank you for taking the time. This is what everybody needs in our whole community. I can't wait for next week's session. And thank you to every leader that's joined us. I'm going to do the edit the moment I'm done here. And please get this out to your people that was not on the call. I see a couple of the leaders came, a couple didn't come. I'll get the message out to them as well because it was really, really powerful. Thanks again, my brother.
Sure, everybody, just let you know to your leaders. I certainly wouldn't send this. I was going to specs and my whole team. I decided not to because it's really not ready for prime time or leaders that you can say, look, this is the first rough draft content. I think the storyboard was good. I think you guys agree. But we want to have that next level of graphics and all that stuff. But I think the story, people often say, man, you do such great webinars. Why is that? Because I get wound up. When I do the webinars, and I know Wilson, you're the same way, and Paul, you probably are too, where when you do a webinar, reminds you why you're so excited. And it just rejuvenates for me what I'm doing. So anyway, good stuff. Thanks for all the kind words. And we'll put something together for that next step, which I think is focusing on handling the objections and the questions on the video. And we'll probably talk, Wilson, about how to do that rather than, hey, I'll send you a link. No, get them to know when it's coming and get them to commit to comment at a certain time. And we'll talk about that in depth next week.
Yeah, that for me is also very important. That's the biggest mistake people make with sending information. They just send stuff. Get them to commit to a time and then make sure they get back to you so they've watched it. It's very important, but we'll dig a bit deeper next week. Guys, thank you very, very much. Have a great weekend and see you guys tomorrow at the presentation. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Cheers, Clint, Wilson. Thank you. Excellent training.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.